Hey guys, Brad Gilmore here. Want to give a big shout out to our title sponsor, Walker Texas Lawyer. If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident, whether that be a car, truck, motorcycle accident, or some kind of other issue, hit up Walker Texas Lawyer at 713-552-1117 or walkertexaslawyer.com.
Oh, Brad, what have you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Matthew McConaughey.
Brad Gilmore.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Chris Tucker is in the building. Chris Tucker, good morning to you.
Hey, Brad. Good morning to you. How are you?
Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias.
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. What looking to talk to me funny, lad.
Grammy Award winner Maya joins us.
How are you?
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat.
Brad Gilmore! We're so excited to be talking to them right now. Their brand new podcast, What My Sis Said, is going to be available tomorrow, and they're joining us right now on the show. Nazanin and Yasmin Kavari, how are y'all doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Let's start right with the podcast. What My Sis Said, it says it's going to dive into the deep aspects of womanhood and more. So, Nazanin, tell me kind of where the concept of this came from and why did you feel like now was the right time to launch this podcast?
So about 4 years ago, I had my first baby. It's really been an eye-opener. I have 3 at this point, and it really showed me how much women get judged. I've always received hate. I've been on social media since I was 13. But after becoming a mom, it's just a whole new level. It's like everything you say or do is wrong, and you're a mom, so be a mom. So for me, I just believe women are so multidimensional. We wear so many different hats. We don't just need to be boxed into one mold. And just because I'm a mom doesn't mean I can't have fun or build my career or whatever the case may be. So that's one thing I really want to implement into this podcast is for women to know, you can do it all. It is possible.
Yeah, and Yasmin, do you kind of mirror those sentiments too? Is that what you see with this podcast?
Well, actually, it's pretty interesting because my sister and I live completely different lives. So I live in Miami by myself, and I don't have any kids. I'm not married. So it's just showing different aspects of what women can do. So, we're both so supportive of each other, but we live such different lives and we have such different perspectives on, how we live our lives.
Yeah, and Nazanin, when you say you've been on social since 13, growing up with that and getting all that feedback all the time, have you been able to build up that's, I don't know, I guess the word would be thick skin, because people online, we all know, can be really mean, and sometimes you can't always
Right.
take what they say to heart, because I've always heard you could have 1,000 great comments, but there's the one negative one that sticks out and ruins your day. Have you figured out how to not let that kind of feedback affect you anymore, or does it still affect you?
Yeah, so going back to that one comment really sticks with you. It used to really affect me when I was younger, but it's honestly become second nature for me. I'd be honestly surprised if I didn't get hate comments. So yeah, honestly, it's second nature. I always know that there's a fine line between constructive criticism and then just straight up hate. I definitely welcome constructive criticism. I think that's one of the beauties of having my life on social media, maybe someone can call out something I'm doing wrong and I can look at it from a different perspective. And I'm like, you know what? Thank you for helping me become a better person. But on the other hand, when I do get that just super nasty comment, I know it's just a projection of that person's insecurities, their feelings onto me. I just happen to be their punching bag that day. So it's pretty easy for me to just, brush it off.
Now, Yasmin, what else can we expect from the podcast? Are y'all going to have guests on? Is it going to be just mainly y'all going through topics? Are you going to interact with the listeners? What can people expect?
We're going to do a little bit of everything. So for now, we have 3 episodes already filmed and ready to go. But we're definitely going to have guests, and we want it to be interactive as well. So if there's a topic that our audience wants us to touch on or anything we want to talk about, we definitely want to be very interactive with our audience.
Nazanin, was this always the plan? I mean, you talk about y'all both being on social and letting people into your lives for all these years. Was this always what you saw the career path being, or is this something that just kind of happened and you kept following it as opportunities kind of unveiled themselves?
This question is so hard for me to answer because, again, I started so young.
Right.
Social media was my full-on career by the time I was a sophomore in high school. So I guess I just never even really looked into other career paths. I mean, I definitely did when it was around time to go to college. But overall, I knew what I had was very special, and I knew I did not want to lose sight of it. And I'm really happy I stick to it. And now it's grown into such a beautiful thing.
And Yasmin, sort of the same question for you, because I know, I think, don't you have a degree in pharmaceuticals or something like that? Was that going to be what your vision was, or was this kind of when you saw what your sister was doing and getting involved and getting on social yourself? Did you say, you know what, I think I want to do this more so?
Yeah, so at the time when I was choosing my career, YouTube and social media was not really an option. It had just come about. So that wasn't even an option for me. And when I saw it start to become a career, that's when I got into it and decided to do that instead.
And being a pharmacist kind of went on the back burner, or is that something that still fascinates you, or what?
I've always enjoyed learning. I loved school, but I realized that the traditional work was just not for me. I didn't enjoy it. Once I got into the field, I'm like, this is not right.
And again, the new podcast, What My Sis Said, is going to be available tomorrow on all podcast platforms. Nazanin, when you're a social media creator and this is your full-time job, this is something I still haven't been able to figure out. How do you stay on top of what the algorithm wants? I feel like the algorithm is this ambiguous word that people talk about almost like it's, I don't know, the Illuminati or something. Like no one knows exactly what it is or how to navigate it. But how much of that, because again, I think people see when they see influencers or social media or YouTubers or whatever, they think, oh, they're just having fun and putting up videos. There's a lot of work that goes into this and a lot of research that you have to know when to post, where to post, and how to post. So how have you navigated the algorithm?
You're so right about that. It definitely doesn't seem as intricate or as hard as what people think if they just see the post, like how much time and thought actually went behind that post. So honestly, me and my one friend who are on social media as well, she really just said it well. It's like 2 jobs in one. Not only do you have to create the content, which is one thing on its own, posting it is like a whole different job in itself. I swear that could just be somebody's career. It's like there's a strategy behind it. It has to be at the perfect time. You have to make sure you have the perfect SEO keywords in the caption. And then again, with the algorithm, it's changing every single day. Luckily, I have management that's like connected to Meta so they can hear it from them themselves. But even just like doing research, reading Reddit threads, it's like you have to do all this research to see. It's like, don't post at this time. Don't repost your story to the don't repost your post to the story. I'm like, why are there all these rules? It makes it so much harder. But you just have to keep up with the game. If you're going to fight against it, then you won't survive this career.
Yeah, right. I feel that's what, again, I think that people hear the term influencer or social media star or what have you, and they do not realize how difficult it is to break through the noise because there's 7 billion people in the world or whatever it is, and 350 million in America, and everybody's got a podcast, everybody's got a YouTube channel or a social media page, Yasmin, but having that that uniqueness kind of helps you break through. And I wanted to ask you this too, Yasmin. Going to Miami's got such an energy and a vibe. Has Miami kind of shifted how you see the world a little bit, because it's got such an energy to it?
Yeah, Miami is definitely a lot different than anywhere else I would say I have lived. It's a lot more slow paced. I feel like people there really, live life and enjoy the moment and being in the moment, whereas a lot of other places, people are just so go, go, go. And that's something I definitely appreciate about the city.
Yeah, it's a great city. And you know what? I'm looking forward to hearing you all talk about this on your podcast, What My Sis Said, available everywhere tomorrow. Just thank you all so much for taking the time. Congratulations on all your success. We'll be supporting you, obviously, and everything that you got going on. And congrats on the podcast.
Thank you
so much.
Y'all have a great one.
Thank you.